Good afternoon. The bells. I'm missing the arches for this. So, a couple of weeks into the chaos, and my local shops have started looking empty. I have not been able, no word of a lie. I keep saying no word of a lie, lately, like that's normally said by lies, but I'm not lying. No word of a lie. I've not been able to buy a lettuce in a week. We are now suffering lettuce shortage. My solution to free up more trucks that are currently wasting hours and hours in RDCs, distribution centres, was rejected by the government, the petition. So that fell on its arse before it started because they don't think they can legislate against it, but I think they can, and it is done in other countries, and I think it would be easily possible. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the government seems to prefer doing nothing. So the latest government idea is to make the job more attractive. Holy fucking shit! You don't say. Oh, we seem to have forgotten to make this job attractive. What the fuck? Do you need getting? Oh my god! It's just right. It just shows the fucking simplicity of this stupid fucking government. Yeah. We need to make more. I don't know. Is you only just realising that now? For fuck's sake, that people don't go to work to be treated like shit. Yeah, and I've always loved the job, but that's not to say there's no bad bits in it. But it's a lot of it's about how you approach it. But now via social media, you can see it more than anything if it's for you. So yeah, on this piece from the government, they claim to have been talking to industry leaders. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not considering myself an industry leader. I'm just a boggle-eyed prat shouting at a camera. And the idea of anybody calling themselves an industry leader is hilarious. But that's exactly where it's falling apart. It's all these meetings and stuff with all the bigwigs and stuff, and all sat around their desks in ties, and they never, ever, ever, ever seem to include a driver. These are the people you're going to rely on to get past this whole situation, but you don't seem to want to interact with them. And don't get me wrong, there are some really shitty lorry drivers that I don't want to be in a room with, but that doesn't mean they all are. Yeah, I've made hundreds of videos. I'm saying this now as somebody who may be watching for the first time me. So I made hundreds of videos, trip diaries, where I travel all over Europe and I do little diaries. But one of the biggest, well, not one of the biggest, but one of the most popular is Top Tips, where I show drivers the ropes in different things and how to do things. A little video, I'll post one somewhere here, a link to it. And I also have an open email, luke@lorrydriver.com, for people to email me and ask questions, because basically I am amazing. I'm a genius. A transport, I'm not. You know what, some people will take that seriously. If I don't know what the answer is, I'll probably be able to find out for you. And it's for a lot, especially when you're that age, like a few people end up asking me what they think is a stupid question. They're too embarrassed to ask people, and often it'll be something very simple, but it's that very simple thing you're just not going to know unless you're taught it. So yeah, I can't remember what the last question was about that, but that was along those lines. Don't be embarrassed, but then people are embarrassed. They can. I'm talking a million miles an hour, but now they can email me and ask questions. Plus the fact, combined with the fact I've been young driver champion since I was young myself. It took me 3 years to get a job driving trucks. It was alright. It wasn't too bad because I was driving coaches around Europe. But I couldn't get a job driving trucks for in the UK for 3 years because I didn't have any experience. But that was 3 years, and that was annoying enough. But that was fairly, I could cope with it because I was driving coaches around Europe, so it wasn't like I was working in a shop or something. Not to say that there's anything wrong with working in shops, but if you're a drifter and a wanderer like us, like many lorry drivers are, being in the same place constantly is a bit soul-destroying. So yeah, driver CPC. It really needs a radical overhaul. It needs to be made much more educational, and it means to be tested at the end. I've had messages and comments say, abolish it, is a waste of money. And in its current form, it is a waste of money. It needs to have a set syllabus, be much more in depth, much more serious, make it a course worth doing. So you end up having, it's not just an HGV license. It's like a proper package, like something to be proud of, something to work for, something to strive towards. But I get so many comments saying how get rid of driver CBC, that soon attract new drivers and keep the old ones. And it's like, and this one bloke commented that, but he was also claiming we should be paid £30 an hour. And it's like, right, so you want to be paid £30 an hour and be able to go from 21 as it was then, or 18 as it is now, all the way through to retirement with no training whatsoever? That doesn't really make any sense. So if you want a job to be seen in a more professional light, be more professional. So yeah, the CPC is here to stay. And in its current form, it's an absolute waste of money because it teaches you fuck all. But make it much more serious, make it something that everybody will go away from having learnt something, but especially younger drivers who can do it as part of an apprenticeship. And one interesting concept actually I thought of was companies, if they take young people on to train them up to do a job, be worth maybe contemplating paying for their car license as well. So straight out of school, no, can't drive trucks till 18 of course, but so straight out of school. So like I say, when I was my brain is frozen. Our bus and coach industry is way further ahead than this. Like they always that's how I started. I started at 19 and the company paid for my e-test, and if I left within a certain period of time I would have to pay it back, but then it would just be the same in HGV. But the fact that it's very rare in this industry is just a bit strange, I always thought. Our average age of a driver is 50 something. That's not sustainable. They are literally dying around us. So yeah, that's some idea that needs to be thought about, because it's almost unheard of. Clarks London is a good example, actually. I had a PCV, went to work for Clarks of London, and they preferred younger drivers. It's not to say there's anything wrong with older drivers, but they preferred younger drivers because they could take them and mould them into the company men they want. Like, if you give a driver a first chance, and if you're half decent, they'll stick with you, and you'll build a good relationship, because that's the biggest key. Too many drivers think it's a battle against the companies, but I've always gotten alright because I just think we're all here to work together. We all need to earn a bit of money on Friday. So yeah, that needs to become the normal in transport. What was I saying? Oh yeah, driver apprenticeships. It's not going to it's not going to solve the solution in the short term, but if anything comes from this, and you watch, it'll all be forgotten. Eventually everything will be back to normal and it'll be forgotten, and then there'll be another crisis next time. But what really needs to be learnt from this is how important transport is and drivers. Like, it literally does deliver your whole life. There's no getting away from it. Everything you are surrounded by will be delivered on a lorry at some point, somewhere. It's that important. Yeah, you can't get an apprenticeship, you can't get the government to pay for your license and stuff. So yeah, and in this driver, one of the things that baffles me and sort of makes me chuckle, but also makes me a little bit angry, is how the media blank some people. Like they blank, somebody was telling me they blank a union, URTU. And I've been ignored several times, even though I've emailed and stuff. Like BBC and ITV and Sky and that, and they seem to they'd prefer Doris buying some eggs in a local Marks and Spencer's than drivers. But hey, I'm free anytime. Look at Lloyd.com. But yeah, so yes. Good day.